Natural capital is about putting a financial value on our natural assets that we have on farm, but it's also financially rewarding farmers for the good environmental work that they're doing on their farm, because that has a benefit not only to the individual farmer, but also to the broader community in protecting our natural assets, our waterways, our threatened species. So natural capital is all about ways and different market mechanisms that financially reward farmers for their good environmental work. So looking after your natural assets on farm absolutely has a production and a resilience benefit. So in a changing climate, variable rainfall, and we've had fires and floods, particularly in this part of the world, if you can have as much resilience in your ecosystem as possible to try and buffer some of those constraints, that's a huge benefit for farmers, as well as producing healthy food. Governments are certainly looking for more investment in environmental market spaces, and corporate enterprises are also looking to reduce their own emissions. So there's all these drivers that we have, and agriculture is really sitting in the box seat in terms of being able to sequester carbon. We're the only industry that can do that. It's an opportune time to start thinking about what opportunities are available to them.
My name's John McGrath, and myself and my wife Jane own Higgins Creek Farm. We're a mixed farming operation, predominantly growing blueberries, and we have 7 acres, 3,500 blueberry bushes, and Australian white sheep. Our farm's about 100 acres, and we're located about halfway between Ulladulla and Batemans Bay on the south coast. So natural capital to me means what is on the farm itself and the block, and I guess it's what attracted us to that farm originally. So I say to people that I'm an accidental blueberry farmer. That is in fact the case. The farm came with a blueberry orchard and ongoing blueberry operation, which I had to learn about very quickly. But the farm also came with beautiful creeks, large stands of trees that had been there for generations, and it's surrounded by Murrumbidgee National Park. So for me, it's a place of natural beauty, and its natural capital, as far as we're concerned, is what makes the farm a special place.
There's different market strategies that landholders can take. So whether they're selling their agricultural produce through a market and receiving a price premium, it's a nature positive product, and I think consumers are really looking at that. And there are other market mechanisms that are out there as well, such as the carbon market. So landholders can be paid for sequestering soil carbon, sequestering carbon in revegetation projects, but also be financially rewarded in biodiversity markets, such as protecting the existing biodiversity assets on their farm.
Been able to harness and capture that biodiversity on the farm. The riparian corridors we have at the moment along our waterways, they should be there for all time. And there's a cost in keeping that fenced and keeping that area free of weeds and keeping it as natural as we possibly can. So it's good to know that there are programs and things available to us as landholders that we can access and tap into.
70% of New South Wales is in private land ownership. It's really important for us to work with landholders because there's some amazing, really intact bushland on their properties that creates amazing habitat for a whole heap of threatened flora and fauna species. It's a really amazing part of the conservation story is to work with those landholders and enhance the biodiversity on their site. And we do that by grant funding processes. We also provide a whole heap of face-to-face workshops and education. And we also have an online free diploma in conservation land management where landholders can learn how to better manage the biodiversity on their site and the benefits of doing that.
So I think the first step for land managers is to understand what natural assets they already have on their farm and looking at the different market strategies, like really considering the farm business plan and goals for the property is really important, and that will help determine which path landholders choose to take. And then getting some really good advice, talking with LLS and understanding what those risks and opportunities are in all of those different approaches, and then coming up with a plan to implement them, register projects, and that continual ongoing monitoring and improvement of those natural assets, and hopefully receiving a financial return for that work.
Resources like Local Land Service has been invaluable to us moving forward, and how we've had to learn about what can and can't be done. But it also gave us the opportunity to just sort of slow down a little bit and not rush and just go, okay, what can we do here, and how can we be sympathetic to the land, and how can we regenerate it, and how can we improve the soil, work on soil biology, all these things that are important to us. So we can still be a farm, still actively be primary producers, but how can we work with the land?
I think that landholders individually and collectively have the opportunity of creating change right across the landscape and really having a big impact on biodiversity and improving the health of our local environment. So I think by landholders working together and networking and sharing those ideas, learning from one another, that peer-to-peer learning is just so important. It's going to go a really long way in terms of achieving that landscape change. If you have questions about natural capital or sustainable agriculture on your property, contact your local LLS office.